Hey guys, today's video is going to be a montage of last year's workshop at Rose Creek Farm in Selmer, Tennessee. You're going to see a bunch of different things discussed in this video to kind of give you a flavor of what happens at these 5-day workshops. Right before we start, I just want to mention too, we have a discount for people who want to come as a team. So you get $500 off if you buy 2 tickets together. That discount code with the link to the ticket will be in the show notes right below. I hope to see some of you guys there. That's October 15th through 19th this October. All right. I can never grow enough arugula. It's in demand in my market stream. It depends, it all depends on where you are, where you're selling. But this is a high value crop, and it's direct seeded. Though you could do it with the paper pot transplanter. Ray, this isn't with the paper pot, is it? No. But yeah, so for the most part, I direct seed this. Arugula, if you haven't tasted it, is a peppery, kind of spicy green. It's an acquired taste. I find people either love it or hate it. Yep. I can get 10 bucks a pound very consistently with arugula in various different market streams. So it's a high value crop. It's hard to grow in the summer, but if you can grow it in the summer, you can get even a higher price, and the demand goes up because the supply is low. Most growers don't want to grow it during the summer. They just give up on it. So it's a flea beetle is usually its biggest pest problem, and there's other pests that aphids can get into it too, but I find generally it grows too fast for aphids to establish themselves in it. So again, high value crop, niche market, fast growing. In my summertime, this is an 18-day crop from seed to harvest. 18 days. So that's crazy. You get more cuts depending on the season. So in my spring and my fall, or early spring or late fall, can't really do it in my winter, I can get 3 cuts at least. In the summertime, I usually can get 1, and I'm lucky to get 2. So in the summer, my planting strategy changes, where it's like I'm seeding it every single week. I'm seeding like 4 beds a week. I'm cropping those beds out, and I'm usually pulling them out right away and then amending and planting something else. But in the springtime, I can plant more of it at once and have wider intervals in my planting because I get more cuts and it doesn't go to seed so quick. In the summer, you cut it and then you'll start to see little flower heads pop up. Once you see that, and you can usually tell, you look down the bed, and if you see little flowers popping out, you better harvest the rest of what you've got, because it's only going to be a matter of days until the rest of it starts going to flower, and then the crop's done. So arugula is one of these crops that you got a short window of time to harvest it. When it's ready to harvest, you harvest. If it gets too big, it's less marketable. And even this is almost too big. But I can cut it high, and I'll show you some tricks with the greens harvester. You can cut it high and kind of make it better, but with restaurant markets, they don't want that. That's too stemmy. You can see little hairs on the stem here.
This is the third cut as well.
This is the 3rd cut, that's why. You can see little hairs on the stem. Oh yeah. Once it gets like that, it's too chewy, and it's not really nice to eat. What the chefs, what a restaurant wants to see, or a premium market customer wants to see, is that. Where the leaves are all the way to the bottom, you don't have a big chunk of stem. If you're selling to chefs, if you have stemmy arugula, they'll complain. This is an important crop for them because it's so beautiful and it tastes really nice. They can use it very minimally. Some people make whole salads out of arugula, but some people will garnish with it because it's very beautiful looking. Yep. So this is more, I don't know what variety this is particular, but this is a wild type arugula. So there's an arugula.
It's Surrey.
It's Surrey?
Surrey.
Yeah, so it's a wild type, and the wild types have the multiple leaves coming out of them. And the non-wild, which I think sometimes in America they call it a rocket. In Australia, everybody calls arugula rocket. But in the seed catalogs, I see it called a rocket in the US and Canada, and it's just a narrow spoon shape. But Astro,
yeah.
that's it. But the top markets, the expensive markets, want the wild type.
Yep.
When we're doing grocery stores, this is kind of what we've got is we have this little label printer that's cheap. Like the printer itself is like $100 or less. It's a thermal printer, and the ink is actually in the label, so you never have to change the ink on this thing, and it uses a laser to burn that in. And so, or to activate the ink in the label. So it's a really cheap way of labeling product. And so, yes, you gotta do black and white labels. I think they have some ones that do color now.
What is that called? Yeah, machine.
It's a thermal printer.
That's the name of it?
Yeah. What's that?
What?
Yeah, oh yeah, like here. Yeah.
Thermal.
Yeah, so I just designed, Katie designed this for me. We just put the label on there, the text.
It's like preloaded.
Yeah. So what's preloaded is actually, I wonder if I can show you. I think I have it in here. So this, and that is all permanent. That's all preloaded. So and then the greensakers.com, that's preloaded. So what I do when they're packing, and then we go to label the stuff, that's like the second last thing that happens. Invoicing is the last thing that happens. Labels are after. So we're bagging micro basil. They'll bag all that stuff. They'll lay it out on the counters, and then they'll go to the computer that's right at our packing area, and then they'll go in here, and they'll just grab this, and we just go like, let's just go August 17th, 2017. Whoops, and then print. Boom, 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 and then it just cranks out the labels from this little machine, and then we stick those on the product.
You put the actual date of harvest or the day you are packing?
We do the harvest the day it was harvested. That's just the day before we packed. So some places want best before. So we have, it's kind of silly, kind of annoying, but we have two labels. We have one that says harvested on and one says best before. Most of our customers want the harvested on because that's kind of unique. They like that. And then I have one grocery store that's a big one that wants best before.
And how do you determine the best before date?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Depends on, mostly 2 weeks. If we're doing our rainbow mix, which has like cabbage and amaranth microgreens, we put 10 days on that one. But mostly everything is just 2 weeks. So the way this tool works is there's a furrower on the bottom, just like on a Jang seeder. It makes a furrow in the ground, just like this. So when I'm getting started on a bed, I get the furrow down and I make myself a little bit of a furrow like there. So I've got a bit of a trench to start in, okay? Now I take my flat, put it on the machine, it rests there. I need a landscape pin to hold down the chain once I get going, but you'll see that in a second. So, oh, these guys have the built-in one, so they don't even need it. Okay, I didn't realize that. So this thing comes under here, and this guides the paper chain off the flat. So I just get that under there, like that. Now I take my chain, undo that little excess stuff, take off any extra there. Now I get my chain in here, take my little pin, get that in the ground like that, and I should be good to go. I might have to make some adjustments if it doesn't look like it's planted deep, or if it's too shallow, or if it's too deep or too shallow. I'll adjust my back wheel here. What this does is raises or lowers that furrower to make a deeper furrow. So I'm assuming that you're at that. That's probably what it's been used at. So let's just see. I would just start a little bit and then see how we go. Looks pretty good, eh?
It's a little low. Yep.
A little too deep?
Yep. Yeah, you're about
Okay, so a little bit too deep, so I'm gonna go up here. This light more notch. Soil.
You're on the last notch now.
I'm on the last notch, so that's as shallow it's gonna go. This is a really fine tilth, but
it is.
I'm just gonna go.
I know it's a method.
Now I could go faster, but I'm not totally confident that I want to, because I really want to look closely and just make sure that every plug is looking good. And right now I'm pretty satisfied with what I see there.
Blade like this, because then you're really just going to file down the tips of their serrations, and that just really kind of weakens the cutting strength of it. So you want to hold it kind of at an angle, like sideways like this, so you can kind of sweep in and out of the serrations.
Curtis Stone inspires me. I see him, he has an abundant mentality. He's here to share. The knowledge is very practical and useful, and he really simplifies farming, even though he knows so much about farming. To me, he's a farm scientist.
I'm Ashley Dettelbach with Dettelbach Farms. I live in Wynne, Arkansas. It's been awesome. I figured out better ways to harvest. I have figured out better tools to use, better seeders, the whole nine. This was great. It was a great experience. There's so much knowledge. Curtis explains everything in detail. So you're not standing there wondering, well, wait a minute, why does that work? Or however. He does really good, and so does Ray. Ray's a great host as well. And he's in the field, and he's, getting dirty and showing you how to do things. And that was great too. So it was a great experience all the way around, and I'm glad that I came.
I can call them now friends, the beautiful people, like-minded people you meet here.
The community you grow.
And we can continue in our relationships. I think that's also high value.
Yeah, really finding all of these people here, in my case, nobody my age is going to want to do this. So being able to come here and come to a class like this and finding people that could be my mentors, not only in this, but in life in general and philosophy, it's more of a support group, because I can call any one of these people and ask them a question, and they'll be right there behind me to answer that phone.
It wasn't definitely only about small plot intensive farming. It was
the relationship people.
Relationship and whole way of life.
Yes.
The marketing side of things was huge for me. Just the different revenue streams and how to really dial in what your market is, and to go through your numbers and kind of see what's performing, what's not, doubling down on what's going, and expanding from there, and the whole planning further ahead, or thinking 3 weeks into what you're going to harvest and what you got to plant 3 weeks ahead, really helped as well.